Hello again, welcome to Mastercam course. At that point we're gonna talk about the Lathe toolpath, of course, and before that we need to create our product, so that's why I can use my line options. I can start from that point actually, so I can click and actually two endpoints and freeform options. After that, this is gonna be my the first point actually, and this is going to be my second point. After that I can write my length here. This is 50, so it means that we're gonna create an 100 diameter and lathe and turning process. After that I can keep going like this. That's gonna be maybe 75. After that I can turn to horizontal line and then click here, and then we can write here it's 50, and then I can change my Y distance. My Y distance can be 75 like this. Okay, so at that point I can click here freeform and we can create some line. After that we can hit the line parallel button and then click here and here, sorry, this is tangent, and point we can turn and selected side we can click here. Maybe it can be in the 30 millimeter, and then we can turn to line and point options again, freeform, two endpoints, we can start from here to here, and then we can delete all that point. Of course, to be able to handle that stuff we can use the white options here, and then I can click here to cancel that line. After that it's also possible to use chamfer options here. This is one distance, it can be 10 millimeter. We can click here and here to get our chamfer options. Okay, so that's it, and this is our actually the first lathe and product. Okay, after that if you like, of course you can also create some the chuck process here. You can start from that point, maybe it can be the 10 millimeter. After that we can use the line parallel options. It can be maybe the 30 millimeters like this. Okay, so maybe we should also create some line here like this. We can also use the line parallel options with 1 millimeter. Okay, at that point we can delete that one and we can use the divide options here to cancel that spot, and we can delete all that line, and then we can also use the parallel line and with 15 millimeter. So I can, yeah, it's also important for us. Okay, let's save that file. Okay, and this is the lathe maybe one, I don't know. Okay, I can hit the save button. Okay, I need to turn machine options here, and then we can change, we can select our lathe machine. We can hit the default button here, and that's it. It is ready right now. So this is my machine. Actually we can also hit that button here to be able to see the all properties about our process. So this is my toolpath actually list. So this is my properties. So I can click the stock setup position here. At that point we can organize our stock and we can organize our chuck. Okay, so we can select left spindle or right spindle, This is actually left spindle, and spindle is quite common. So, and actually we can create our stock here. I can click the properties button, and this is the stock setup manager actually, and we can use make from 2 point options. This is also quite common. We can use as a geometry site as a cylinder, so we can hit make from 2 points options, and then this is gonna be my first point, and this is gonna be my second point. After that, we can easily see that our and the diameter and our length here. Okay, so this is also can be organized. We can create our stock according to and minus z-axis. Okay, so this is quite common. Okay, we can hit OK button. So this is my stock. After that, we can also organize our chuck here. We can hit the properties button, maybe, and we can also organize that kind of stuff here to be able to organize our and the chuck actually. Okay, and this chuck also can be seen if you click OK button. Of course, you can also easily change that and process easily. This is and organized here, as you can see. You can also push the delete button to delete our chuck. Okay, actually chuck position or chuck process is not necessary. Actually, if you would like to see this some and actually your crush effect actually, so that's gonna turn to actually important for you, but otherwise you don't need to organize your and the chuck process. Okay, let's click OK button. Okay, at that point this is actually first step, so that's why we can only focusing on only the stock position. Okay, that's it. After that it is ready, and then we can easily create our and actually and the face toolpath at that point. So you know that at that point actually this is my real product and this is my stock, so there is no and any uncut chip and the chip thickness here. So we need to turn to stock setup here, and we need to push the properties button again, and then we can activate use margins options. At that point we can write here, for example, and the 3 millimeter, and then we're gonna see the sum and the 3 millimeters stock here to be able to create our actually face toolpath. So of course at that point actually we can hit the face toolpath button here. Okay, at that point, and actually it is quite important the and face parameters, if you use the use stock options, is necessary. If you don't like to use that stuff, you can also use the select point options. So if you use stock setup, you need to be careful about your stocks. Okay, if intend to use actually select point options, it's not important. Okay, we just easily be able to select only 2 points. 2 points is enough to create our and the toolpath. Okay, anyway, let's focus on the toolpath parameters. At that point we can select our tool. Actually this is the tool 1 and offset 1, so this is my radius. If and double click on that tool, you can easily change your and the inserts and the holders and your parameters. This is the compensation type. Actually this is the tool diameter compensation options. Okay, that part is also quite important. Okay, this is also actually and general turn and the turning types. You can click OK button. Anyway, this is the details, and we're gonna focus on that stuff and the later. Okay, this is my feed rate. Feed rate is quite important, and after that we can easily turn to actually RPM or CSS. Okay, this is the RPM options. It means that we're gonna fix RPM in our process. So for example, we're gonna use the 1000 RPM here per minute. It means that our chuck gonna return and 1000 times in a 1 minute. Okay, so this is the constant RPM options. But actually at that point I can easily say that in the face toolpath it's not so good to use constant RPM, because our diameter always change. For example, we can start from here and then we're gonna reach the 0 point. So this is, for example, 150 diameter, 100 and the 50 and then 25, and then we're gonna reach 0. So it means that if we can use constant RPM cutting process here, so it means that we're gonna get better surface roughness here, but not the good surface roughness here, because we're gonna cut, for example, and the 150 multiply with P. So this is our toolpath length at that point. But when I'm reached that point, my toolpath gonna reduce. Okay, so if I am reaching the 0 point, my toolpath length gonna turn to 0. So that's why it's not good to use RPM, constant RPM here. So we can turn to constant cutting speed options. So when we turn to constant cutting speed options in face toolpath, so it means that we're gonna start with actually and some cutting speed. For example, my cutting speed can be 120. Okay, we're gonna start from here, and according to my cutting speed and my tool diameter position, my spindle speed calculated automatically. For example, we can start with the 70/100 here, and if I am reaching the 0 position, so it means that it's gonna increase incrementally. Maybe we're gonna reach maximum spindle speed at that point. So that's why if you use constant cutting speed position here, it means that we also need to write here maximum spindle speed. Otherwise, we can start from here. This is maybe the 600. We're gonna reach here 1000, 2000, 4000 and 8000. This is my maximum spindle speed, our machine. And then it means that we're gonna reach maybe 10,000 if it is possible for your CNC, of course. So that's not, and we want, okay, we don't want that kind of stuff here. So that's why I need to write maximum spindle speed here. This is 1000 and 100, 1000 and 300. Okay, so this is my feed rate, and this is my maximum spindle speed, and this is gonna be my constant cutting speed, and my spindle speed gonna calculate it automatically here. Okay, this is actually first step. Okay, and at that point actually I also mentioned about our reference point. Reference point is also quite important. We can also use the approach position here. My approach position X may be cancelled and only Z axis activated, and this is also retract position and approach position. We can also use here as a 5. Okay, so that's it for our first page, and then we can turn to the face parameters. At the face parameters, actually we can use the stock options here. This is going to be my stock, so this is going to be my finishing Z position. We can write 0 or 1 or maybe minus 1, and actually this is not sense to write -1 here, so most of the time we just need to write 0 as a default parameters. This is my entry amount, this is my entry options, and then we can activate rough step over here, and we can write 1 millimeter here. This is my finish step over, we can write 0.5 and 0.15 maybe, and we can also write maximum number of finish passes here. Maybe it can be 2, or it can be 5, or it can be 1. This is also quite important, and overcut amount. When we turn to toolpaths and our radius, we're gonna see that, and as a parameter side we can also see some compensation part here. So this is going to be my 0 position, but if I am reaching x0, it means that we're going to see that 0.8 millimeter and actually some point here, some materials gonna left here, and 0.8 millimeters. So we don't want that because of our radius, of course. So according to my compensation, we can turn to face parameters, and then we can write here 0.8 millimeter here. We don't need to write minus here. This is also under our origin, so that's why maybe we should write here 1. Okay, this is the retract amount. Okay, we're gonna cut 1 millimeter as each steps, and then we're gonna turn to retract amount, and then we can also see the stock to leave position here. This is 0, and we can also left and the sum 0.1 millimeter here to cut that part by using the different tools. Okay, of course all that stuff about our actually our surface roughness approach. Okay, let's see our code here. I can click here, and then we can see our first toolpath. Okay, congratulations to you. So we can hit the simulation button here. This is our insert and holder, and then we can hit here the step-by-step position. Okay, this is my first step, and first cutting here we can also see, and here, okay, this can be seen here, and 1 millimeter here. Maybe we should also try the 0 here. Okay, this is the 0, or we can turn here. Maybe we should write 0.1 here. Okay, we can turn to simulation mode here. Our first step, and then cutting process and retract position, and cutting process and retract position, cutting and retract position, and then we can go to the last retract position. This is coming from our the reference point. This is retract 5. Maybe we should write here 10. Can be seen here. This is 10, and then we go to the home position. First, second, and third. This is the last position, and we're gonna see the Z10 position here, and then we can go to our reference position. Okay, this is the first toolpath. Okay, this is the face toolpath.